inventions that I've never had to specifically think of. When I wake up in the morning, I just sit down and I don't even brush my hair. I have bedhead right now. I've had it for maybe about 4 hours or more, however long I've been awake. I clip my nails. I don't have them long. It'd just be an unforeseeable amount of difficulties that I couldn't deal with because I'm not that brave. Yes, I'm a cowardly lion, especially when it comes to things like that. But I suppose my time is done, so I'll leave you with no more rants about me fearing of being a female.
Thank you. It's a very weird purview of being a woman.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's what you think it is? Braiding our hair and painting our nails?
I'm sorry.
Okay, Alex.
But
let's see why I don't remember your name. Alright, the next question. You have to think back to your middle school self and think, what was your guilty pleasure as a middle schooler? Calling on you in the back. Yup.
She gave me a Freaky Friday question.
Man, I'm trying to think.
What's your name?
My name's Aquib. Nice to meet you.
Aquib?
Yeah.
A-K-E-B?
No, close. A-Q-I-B.
Okay. Just go.
All right. So, I guess when I was a middle schooler, I was kind of nerdy. I'm trying to think back to what I enjoyed doing. There wasn't a lot that I enjoyed doing besides, I mean, we all had our routine set in stone. You know, we wake up, we go to school, come back, 3 square meals a day, mom takes care of us, blah, 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 watch TV. I guess one thing I could never finish my day without was reading a book. Usually I would read fantasy novels like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and that was the only thing that would put me to sleep. So every night before bed I would curl up, I'd grab a good book, and I'd read like maybe 70, 80 pages or so. I was kind of crazy in that regard where I could just go nonstop, and I wouldn't be able to fall asleep unless there was text in my face and I got really immersed into the story. So I guess one of my guilty pleasures is, and it's something I unfortunately don't do anymore, it's reading. And yeah, there's a joy in it, you know, there's a childish joy in just finding a good book and then getting lost in it, getting lost in the story and the details. One can argue that movies and television has all but replaced a good book, and you know, visual stimulation is more exciting, more meaningful. But I beg to disagree because there's so much in a book that you can cover that you just can't get in a TV. There's the human vocabulary and our usage of words is so vast. It's so broad. There's so many words to convey different meanings that you can expound on any topic way more in text than you can with visually. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, of course, but yeah, a book, I want to say, it has a lot more than 1,000 words. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Insightful word count. The next question, you still have to think back to your middle school self. Can't do anything now. Think in middle school, what was your most embarrassing or publicly shaming moment? Calling on you. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, in middle school in 7th grade, I remember this very clearly because my sister keeps reminding me about it, unfortunately. So, I was really into playing Mario Kart as a kid, and I still do. I still love Mario Kart. If you can beat me, I will literally give you $100. I'm not sure the best, but that's besides the point. When I was in 7th grade, I was just loved Mario Kart so much. I was like, wow, I can't believe like Nintendo thought of throwing items on the ground and then people slipping on them. So that's what I did in real life to see if it was true. I got a laundry basket. I dumped out all the clothes, and then I brought it up to the top of the stairs. And my sister was like, "What are you doing? We did laundry yesterday." And I'm like, "You're about to see." So I got into the laundry basket and I slid down the stairs. And for those of you who have taken physics before, you already know that it's not a smooth sailing. So I bumped up 3 times and then I fell on my back, fortunately, but I got knocked out because of that. It was one huge row of stairs. I remember because I counted stairs. There were 30 or 35 stairs. 35 steps. So I got knocked out. I woke up to my sister screaming. It's like, what are you doing? How can you be so dumb? And unfortunately, that's what I have to live for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Our next question is just based on the overall theme of middle school, because Bhanodai told me I couldn't single out people in this room. So our next question is, do you think Barack Obama is cute, and why?
Oh.
Darling in red, come on up. What's your name?
Kyle.
Kyle.
So Barack Obama, he took office while we were in middle school. It was one of the most historic moments in United States history. As far as being cute, I never really thought about that until this moment.
These pictures too then. This is when he was younger.
Ooh, yeah. Him at our age, that definitely adds a little bit of a different element. I know President Obama has been known for his style, especially since he exited office, the Oval Office. He's pulled out some pretty swagging T-shirts. He's gotten rid of the tie, and it looks like he's hitting the nightclubs in Miami. He's got the Havana night style life going on. So, as far as Barack Obama being cute, personally, I don't consider him cute, but I will say he has very good style, and I'd like to learn from him, especially at that age. I hope when I retire, I can just kind of ball out like he does and take different golf trips and attend different forums. And I hope I'm as good of a speaker as him one day, because I think he's a role model for all of us here at Toastmasters. But yeah, Michelle Obama's pretty cute though.
You know what? That's true. She is cute. Okay. Next middle school question. What is the meanest rumor you've ever spread or helped? Don't judge me, Donna. This is your question now. What is the meanest rumor you've ever spread or helped spread?
Oof.
Think middle school you, everyone's a gossip. Come on up, Adanna. Let's go. Come on.
I've never spread rumors. I can't think of a rumor that I've spread in middle school.
Okay, think of a rumor that you've heard.
See, I don't get into gossip like that. In middle school, I was kind of a loner in middle school, so I was curled up in my books and stuff. I had a few select friends, so I didn't really get. Oh, I remember one. Wait. There was just one girl, bless her heart. She's my best friend right now, but she's all the way in Georgia State. But she would dang it, I'm gonna call her out too bad. She was really nice, but she was very naive. She would buy stuff for people. She would be like, hey, I'll buy you candy if we can hang out together. She would keep buying stuff for people and use up her money. And then off to the side, I heard those same people talking about how she's just a kiss up, how she's blah, blah, blah. And I told her, and I was like, hey, they're talking about you. And I guess that's kind of a rumor, I don't know. And I was just trying to be a friend to tell her, hey, you need to downgrade on the whole buying stuff for people, because it gets people to use you. So I was telling her, oh, they said this, they said that, and I guess that's a rumor. And then she went back and asked me about it. And then they came back to me how dare you tell her this? I'm like, what? But yeah, I guess that's a rumor in a way. I didn't really spread rumors to hurt people. I tried not to. In elementary school I was a devil though, but in middle school I became really nice. But
Yeah.
Why is it being not green yet? Oh.
Come on, Adanna. I expected some juicier gossip.
Please say gossip.
Think about it. It's middle school. Okay. It's fine. Thank you. Next, how would you rate your own looks on a scale from 1 to 10? Let's go, Bhanodai!
No. Yeah, this is gonna be actually pretty sad. Because I used to be 300 pounds, like in high school, and I looked like a 50-year-old grandpa in senior year. Tyler knows. Like I've known him for like 8 years on Xbox, so he hasn't seen me until like high school, senior year, and I was like 300 pounds. And freshman year of college, I was like August, 310-ish pounds, and now I'm like around 170-ish pounds, depending on how much I ate the day before. So at that time, when I was 300 pounds, I would just have such low self-esteem about my looks. Like, oh my God, like my hair is all fucked up. I'm fucked up as a person. Like, just like I look horrible and stuff like that. And after losing that weight, that aspect of me, I would say, is better. Like, I would say I look better now than I did when I was 300 pounds. However, when I look at myself in the mirror, there's that trained image. When you're like so obese for such a long time in your life, for 18 years, you have this image that you're still 300 pounds, and that affects your self-esteem. It makes you think, man, well, I don't have a chance with this person. Why even try? Why should I even get out of the house? Because I still look or imagine myself as that 300-pound person. And I think that aspect of myself is getting better each and every single day, to where I'm even able to speak in front of you all about this. Like, if you asked me to speak about this 2 years ago, I don't think that's a possibility. So how would I rate myself right now? If you were to ask me 4 years ago, it's 0 out of a 10. Right now, mentally, I want to say a 10 out of 10, depending on how much progress I made. Thanks.
Of course. That's exactly the middle school grunginess that we were looking for. All right. The next one is, if you could save everyone in this room from a fire, but you had to leave one person behind, who would you pick and why? You already went. Sarena!
You could kill me.
You have to explain why.
Okay. I mean, the answer's pretty obvious here. This person! Honestly. This person too. I mean, okay, this person's obviously a person because they're a skeleton, they're human, or at least they used to be. So, I mean, this person's pretty useless. Wait, did you purposely put the slide to, okay.
No, I did not.
Alright, so the reason I would not save the skeleton is because, number one, he's dumb, because he's looking at a magic 8-ball, and magic 8-balls are not real, or whatever, is that a cool ball? Yeah.
Okay, keep insulting my PowerPoint. Go ahead.
Number two, because he's dumb, because he's reading a book called Death for Dummies.
He's smart. He has glasses.
With no eyes.
Bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Here, let's see. Also, he's nodding at something that he obviously can't even see because he doesn't have eyes. So why would you save someone who can't even look at something that they don't even recognize? And they can't even see anything in this world, and they're just pretending to be something fake. And I wouldn't save a fake person from a fire. Thank you.
Wait, but I'm a fake person. An
awfully pragmatic response. Our next question. Okay, just know that I was thinking about what middle schoolers were asked and we were there. So, what does your dream boy / girl / person of preferred sex look like? And please be specific. Tricia Perez.
So, like, my ideal person?
Your ideal person.
My ideal person. Well, I've actually talked with my parents, specifically with my mom, about dating and, like, if I were to ever marry someone else, And for her response is, I don't care who you marry as long as they're the same faith. So for me, in terms of looks, I wouldn't be too hung up on it, but in terms of looking for another person, I would look for personality, someone with similarities, because I feel like with similarities, it's just easier to work out differences because you're already aware and assured that at least you have some common ground you can come back to. And two, other than being easier, once you have those commonalities, then I just feel like you feel like on the same level. There's like an equal amount of both respect, and you can you have an understanding of what to expect. Thank you.
Are there any more slides? Quite a few. Oh well. Our next and last question, sadly, is if you had to make out with any cartoon Disney character, who would it be and why? Now, who hasn't gone yet? That has a role? That doesn't have a role? No one? Okay, yeah, come on, Victor, let's go.
Oh, sweet.
Yo, choose a Disney character you want to make out with. Let's go.
So, her name is Rapunzel. Why? Well, there's many reasons why. One, she's a princess. Two,
Do you have a hair fetish?
a little bit. Two, her mom's crazy and her dad's not around, so she has dad issues. And three, she's very beautiful. I would want to imagine that I would like to pursue a woman who sits at the window waiting for me for days on end. So that's something I'd like to do. And I guess it doesn't stop at one. I guess I could go on to like Mulan. Who else? Actually, don't really know who the princess is.
I mean, you didn't even know Rapunzel's backstory. She was kidnapped. Her parents are perfectly fine. They're king and queen. But I mean,
Oh, thanks.
you clearly don't listen to your women when they talk.
I
She
know.
goes like Ariel, her voice was gone. She's your perfect match. Alright, thanks. And I'd like to call back up our Toastmaster, Bhanodai.
Thanks, Nadia. Wow, this is very, very creative. Certainly outside of the traditional box of what a typical table topics section looks like. Lima, were all of the speakers in time?
Yes, they were.
All right, so if you don't mind filling out your best table topic speaker, first and second, this actually affects your points. Adanna and Sarena, if I'm not mistaken, you get 2 points if you're first, and then 1 point if you're second. If you cannot read the names, I can maybe put them on the top list. Let's see if I can.
Did I write so small?
It's all right. So we had Tyler, who talked about not trading with anyone, the non-answer. Opposite sex, Alex. Guilty pleasure, Aquib. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Embarrassing moment, Mike. Obama, hot or not, Michelle though, Kyle. Gossip, Adanna, 10 out of 10. Me, hip, like great expectations, I guess.
Like
Fire.
Pippala.
Oh, Pippala, yeah, that's last name. Fire, yeah, Sarena. And last two, ideal person, Tricia, and Disney Victor. If you need me to repeat any names, let me know. Cool. Victor said don't vote for me. Don't vote. All right, I'll give you all around 30 seconds to just vote and make sure to leave feedback for our Table Topics Master, Nadia. Let us know how she was. Could there be any improvements for another section if she were to host another Table Topics section? Cool, thanks.
Do we have to fill out the category of the third speaker?
Oh, there is no third speaker.
Okay, yeah. See, I was going to use it, but I didn't know I'd get that whole Freaky Friday gender role thing. Really didn't think that would happen. Why did
It
you
just
think?
shows what you think about women.
No, it's just that it shows
We
that.
think all we care about is braiding our hair and painting our nails.
No.
That's just fact, Alex.
No. My problem is, I'm a man. I'm going into a gender that I don't know about. Specifically.
All right, so that's all the time we have for this section. I'd like to introduce our general evaluator. Originally it was Nasir, however, he apparently had a nap and overslept his alarm, so we have our substitute of the day, Tyler Chan.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're into the evaluation section, the most important section, in my opinion, of the meeting. This is where we get to learn what we could improve upon and what we did well on. So we have two speakers, so we have two evaluators. And our first evaluator is Tricia Perez. She'll be evaluating Sarena for 2 to 3 minutes. Without further ado, Tricia.
So Sarena, I really liked, first of all, the title, How to Get Away with Lying. Very captivating. I don't know if it was a reference to the TV show How to Get Away with Murder, but that little bit of like, ooh, like I'm doing something here, that was very cool. When you start a presentation, it first begins the moment you got out of your seat. And I noticed that when you came up and shook Bhanodai's hand, you had very firm steps and a firm handshake, and you had your eye contact towards him. So already that sets you up for your presentation. And as you went through, you did use a lot of gestures and movement, and that combined helped solidify the structure and making sure that your presentation is organized. So you first began in the center, and then as you moved to your points, you like came around in a circle, and then eventually ended back right back in the center. There was some moments where you did hesitate, but you weren't afraid of the silence, and I felt like that showed maturity in your speaking ability and being aware of the environment, because you took that time to recollect your thoughts, but at the same time it wasn't distracting for the audience. When you pointed out the two characteristics, you're like number 1, number 2, I'm using those hand gestures to emphasize, so that was really helpful. There was a moment when you're talking about the sweet tomatoes example, like you moved over here, and at first I wasn't sure if that was meant to go with the second example, like you want to be the person that people least expect you to be. I wasn't sure if that example was supposed to be a part of that, but since you moved away from that, it made it clear as it was leading into a separate topic, which was about body movement. And when you talked about the body movement, and specifically with eyes, the smile, and like freezing up, you were confident enough to really make those gestures and give an example of them so that we knew exactly what you meant. And even though like the smile, it was awkward, but it was like a confident awkward because you just went for it. And then after that point, you came back to the center. And I like the circle back where in the beginning you first said honesty is the best policy, and then you repeated that again, but with the theme of lying in mind, and you said honesty is almost the best policy. So I thought that was a great way to center back your point about lying. Overall, great use of gestures and movement. As a suggestion, I know you're using the flashcard just for that one moment. But in terms of giving a speech, if you could put that on a slide to maybe emphasize it, or as we could read it aloud, or that the audience could go back and kind of reflect on what the quote is. But other than that, great job, and awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia. And now for our second evaluator, who's evaluating Victor's speech, we have Mike Boo.
Wow, That was a really good speech for your second time here. That's crazy. I remember my first speech, I was, that's it. Even though the title wasn't still. The thing I liked most about your speech was you had a really good attention gainer. You incorporated emotions in your speech. I'm actually taking a public speaking class right now for my major. And my teacher says you need to appeal to either ethos, pathos, or logos. So ethos is emotions, what you did, and pathos is facts, and logos, logos is facts, and pathos is what you're thinking of. So it's good that you applied ethos to that. In addition, you had good gestures. You're just, I remember in the beginning, you were like cowering in the beginning, and you also used hand gestures to emphasize different points. I also like your structure. You were very confident in what you were saying. You had 3 main points, and they're easy to follow because you said 1, 2, 3, like that. I also saw you were pacing a lot throughout the stage. Like when my comm professor talks to me about this, they're like, whenever you pace throughout the stage, separate your main points. So after you finish your main point, you're saying number 2, and you go over to here.